Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our August 13th, 2024 Administrative Matters meeting. We'll call this meeting to order at 9 a.m. And as is our tradition, we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would join us as you can. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. My name is John Kafalis, Commissioner from District 1, joined by my Commissioner colleagues, Kristen Stevens from District 2, Jody Shattuck McNally from District 3. Across the way, we have Lindsay with the Clerk and Recorder's office taking notes and recording the meeting, which of course is a public meeting. Lorinda Volker, our County Manager, and Tom and Sarah from our office to provide us with support. With that, the first item is the public comment, and I know there's at least one person who signed up. Ed, I have the sign-up sheet. Welcome. I'm sure you know the routine. If you would be kind enough to introduce yourself, credential yourself if you wish, and I think about 3 minutes if you can do that. Thanks, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. I am Ed Bean, Media and Outreach Liaison for the Larimer Alliance for Health, Safety, and the Environment, and I reside at 3580 Stanford Road in Fort Collins. I'm here today to commend the county in its efforts to pursue effective regulation of the Prospect Energy oil and gas operations in Larimer County. As noted in the Fort Collins Coloradoan, you all announced a settlement on July 23rd with the Colorado Energy and Carbon Management Commission and Prospect Energy. This settlement will effectively end this company's operations with resultant shutting in of its wells and cleanup of its other sites and storage facilities. You and your staff are well aware of the record of slipshod operation and egregious violations on the part of Prospect, which has long been a problem child in our area to say the least, including fires, flaring violations, and other air quality issues. Following its most recent issue, a flow line spill up on Douglas Road near Country Club Estates last fall, we were made aware of efforts by both the county and the city of Fort Collins to rein in this clearly mismanaged oil and gas operation. In following up on our concerns over the cleanup and remediation of both land and water resources following the flow line leak, staff for both Larimer County and the city of Fort Collins kept our group advised on progress of negotiations with Prospect Energy and the ECMC. At the time, that was centered on violations related to the spill, citations for violations of state flaring restrictions, and the audacious request by Prospect to be allowed a variance to flare on their sites. In particular, I commend Matt Lafferty of Larimer County's Planning Department and the county's local government designee with the ECMC for providing timely updates. Whatever arcana may have been at play with the negotiations between local governments, the state, and Prospect Energy, it is past time for their operations to be ended. I have no doubt in the period of monitoring that will follow the shutting down and restoration of these sites that the sage words of Ronald Reagan will be kept in mind: trust but verify. I looked over the record of the Commissioners' meeting on July 23rd and arrive here with only one further question. What is the effective date of the agreement that triggers the timeline of remediation detailed in the Coloradoan's article? Beyond that, I thank you all and the county and city staff at large for your efforts at securing this agreement and closing this chapter in our history with this troublesome operation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. And we'll follow up with regard to your question. Our county manager has made note of that, Lorinda, and we'll follow up so we can get clarity on the effective date. Thank you. Sarah, is there anyone online who wishes to offer public comment?
No, Commissioner.
Could you check one more time? I guess there's not much to check, is there?
No.
No. All right. Before we close public comment, is there anyone here in person who may not have signed up who wishes to offer public comment? This is your opportunity. Then we will close the public comment portion of the meeting and move on to the next item, which is approval of the minutes. Commissioner Stevens, would you offer the motion, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the minutes for the week of August 5th, 2024.
Thank you. Proper motion. Don't believe there's further discussion. Do hope we get the spelling of proclamation correct. I think it was addressed, but the document that was in the electronic packet still had it misspelled from last week. All those in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. 3-0, that passes. Moving on to upcoming schedule review. I think we're looking at 2 weeks' worth of scheduling.
Yes, this is the Commissioner schedule for August 19th through the 23rd, 2024. On Monday, August 19th, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Behavioral Health Policy Council meeting. It's a hybrid meeting in person. It'll be at 2260 West Trilby Road or virtually via Zoom. From 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Larimer Epidemiology Working Group meeting. On Tuesday, August 20th, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., Commissioner Kavalis will attend the LaPorte Planning Advisory Committee meeting. It's a hybrid meeting in person. It'll be in the hearing room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. On Wednesday, August 21st, from 4 to 5 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Veterans Together meeting in the Boyd Lake Conference Room on the first floor. On Thursday, August 22nd, from 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., Commissioner Kavalis may attend the Red Feather Lakes Planning Advisory Committee meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it'll be at 44 Firehouse Lane in Red Feather Lakes or virtually via Zoom. From 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the virtual Regional Opioid Abatement Council meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it'll be at 2260 West Trilby Road in Fort Collins or virtually via Zoom. From 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual North Front Range Metropolitan Planning Organization Finance Committee meeting. From 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Open Lands Advisory Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at the Horsetooth Area Information Center at 4200 West County Road 38E in Fort Collins or virtually via Zoom. On Friday, August 23rd, from 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., Commissioner Stevens will participate in the virtual State Human Services Trails Executive Steering Committee meeting. And from 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally will participate in the virtual Colorado Forest Health Legislative Committee meeting. And for August 26th through the 31st, 2024, on Monday, August 26th, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., there will be a work session for a quarterly Climate Smart Future Ready update in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be a work session for Behavioral Health Services to present 2024 Impact Fund Grant Award recommendations in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., there will be an elected officials lunch at the Stakeout Saloon at 152 West Mountain Avenue in Fort Collins. From 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Leslie Ellis, Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 2:20 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be a special meeting for certification of the abstract of assessment report for the Assessor's Office in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., there will be land use items with the Development Review Team. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it'll be in the hearing room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. On Tuesday, August 27th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be an Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room on the first floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be Administrative Direction to County Management in the Sprague Lake Conference Room on the second floor. From 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., Commissioner Stevens will attend the Berthoud Town Board meeting at 807 Mountain Avenue in Berthoud. On Wednesday, August 28th, from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., Commissioners Kavalis and Shattuck McNally may attend the North Fort Collins Business Association meeting at the Rocky Mountain Innisphere at 320 East Vine Drive in Fort Collins. From 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Big Thompson Watershed Health Partnership meeting. From 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., Commissioners Kavalis and Stevens will attend the Solid Waste Update meeting in the Sprague Lake Conference Room on the second floor. From 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., Commissioners Kafalas and Shadid McNally will attend the Kids Pack Challenge with Sheriff Fan at 250 West 69th Court in Loveland, Colorado 80538. From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioners Stevens and Shadid McNally will attend the Commissioner Casual Conversation in the Commissioners Conference Room on the second floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., the Commissioners will convene as the Board of Social Services in the Commissioners Conference Room on the second floor. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioner Kafalas may attend the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Advisory Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the Carter Lake Conference Room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. On Thursday, August 29th, from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., Commissioner Shadid McNally will host a Common Grounds for the Berthoud community. The guests will be Berthoud Fire Protection District Fire Chief Stephen Charles and Battalion Chief Nico Romero, Justin Whitesell, Emergency Services Director, Larimer County Sheriff's Office, and Cole Parrott, Deputy Emergency Manager for the Larimer County Office of Emergency Management, who will discuss wildfire preparation and mitigation at Grace Place at 375 Meadowlark Drive in Berthoud. From 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the WTS Northern Colorado Chapter Safety and Vision Zero panel discussion at the Collindale Golf Course at 1441 East Horsetooth Road in Fort Collins. From 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m., Commissioner Kafalas will host a Livermore Community Meeting at the Livermore Community Hall at 2044 West County Road 74E in Livermore. On Friday, August 30th, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioner Shadid McNally will attend the 2024 Drug Information Opportunity Symposium. From 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m., Commissioner Kafalas will attend a Red Mountain Open Space Tour. From 11:30 a.m. to 1:15 p.m., Commissioner Stevens and Shadid McNally may attend the CCAT Lobby Contract Finalist Virtual Conversations virtually via Zoom. From 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., Commissioners will attend the ribbon cutting / open house for the new elections counting facility at 2573 Midpoint Drive in Fort Collins. On Saturday, August 31st, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shadid McNally will attend the Ranger Ride-Along at the Horsetooth Area Information Center at 4200 West County Road 38E in Fort Collins. From 3:30 p.m. to 9 p.m., Commissioner Shadid McNally will attend the Fight the Stigma event at the Lyric at 1209 North College Avenue in Fort Collins. That's it.
Thank you, Sarah. And before I check in with my colleagues, I just wanted to mention that in the minutes that I sign, the spelling of proclamation in two places has been corrected. So thank you to Lindsay in our clerk and recorder's office. So we do have the proper spelling. Commissioner Stevens, do you have any feedback regarding the 2 weeks of scheduling?
No, looks right to me. I will be attending the Turkish American Cultural Society of Colorado event on Sunday, August 25th in LaPorte. It's from 1 to 5 p.m. I probably won't be there the entire time, but I just wanted to add that to my schedule.
Thank you. Commissioner Shadid McNally, anything?
Thank you. Sarah, can we add to that common grounds for the Berthoud event that it's a wildfire town hall? So it's not just common grounds, but it's a wildfire town hall. And Commissioner Stevens, I'm hoping I have doing the Kids Pack Challenge, I challenged Sharon Fain to this, and it will probably take the full hour. So I didn't know if we can either reschedule or push our casual conversation back a half hour so I can join you. So I don't know if we can.
We can just reschedule it.
Okay, that'd be great. So I would love to still do that. I don't want to cancel it. I'm hoping we can just push that back. It is important to me for that. But I wanted to change that. And then I'm curious, I have also the EDI thing on my schedule for the 28th. I think we're both supposed to be attending virtually. So can we please make sure that is adjusted?
Yeah,
that would be wonderful. Sorry, I had some notes here. I apologize. I got to come back. I'm attending the CSU Leadership Breakfast on Tuesday, August 20th at 7 in the morning to 8:30. On the August 20th. And I wanted to make sure that the Veterans Together meeting on the 21st has a virtual option because I'll need to attend that virtually.
I'll get that worked
Okay.
out.
Awesome. And also on the 22nd, Thursday, I am attending the League of Women Voters Women's Equality Day event at Sweetheart Winery. I need to get that on my schedule. We weren't supposed to be in town, so we were supposed to be in Maryland. That got canceled, our Emergency Management Institute. So I just need to facilitate, but that is at Sweetheart Winery, starting at 5 o'clock to 7:30, and that is the League of Women Voters Equality Day celebration and award ceremony. So we can put that on my calendar. It's like I get halfway through registering, you get on my calendar, and then I get a call and walk away. So it hasn't gotten finished. So I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. Sarah, just please add my name to the August 21st Veterans Together meeting. I do strive to attend that in person. And the second item is the Livermore Community Meeting. Please change meeting to conversation. That's on August 29th. I think that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Sarah, thanks for your good work. All right, we'll move on now. Consent agenda. Where is it? So, consent agenda is something that we go through somewhat quickly. The details of the documents and information are on the website if people are interested. But typically, consent agenda items are administrative in nature, nothing controversial, and kind of routine. So that's why it's a consent agenda, to kind of take care of business and be able to move forward. So I'll go through the consent agenda, the different categories, and there is the option of pulling something off the consent agenda by the commissioners if they choose to. So the first item on the consent agenda for today, Tuesday, August 13th, 2024, is an abatement petition for abatement or refund of taxes that exceeds the allotted refund amount of $10,000. And this particular parcel is in Loveland, tax years 2021 and 2022. Moving on, we have agreements. We have 3 agreements. The first one is a second amendment to the intergovernmental agreement IGA with the Poudre River Library District, formerly known as the Fort Collins Regional Library District. And this is, again, updating the IGA that we have with them, the city of Fort Collins, the library, and the county. Second agreement is a professional services agreement, P24-09, grant writing services. This is to provide grant writing services to the county. Specifically, they will identify relevant state or federal grants, leaders support the proposed development process, and prepare proposals. The terms of this agreement are
verified. Scott C.
The terms of this agreement are August 13th today through August 14th of next year between the county and HDR Engineering Incorporated. The third agreement, Cordant Health Solutions Laboratory Services. This is an agreement for lab services consisting of toxicology laboratory testing, This is between the Health Services Company and Larimer County Community Corrections. The term of the agreement is April 1 of this year through March 31 of next year, and there is a dollar amount here, and that is $490,000. Next, we move on to appointments. There are three of those. One is a rescission, recommended rescinded appointment to the Board of Adjustment. Lisa Cholet, she was serving, but she also serves on the Planning Commission, and so the decision was that she need not be on both. The second is recommended alternate midterm appointments to the Board of Adjustment, Chris Burnett and Brandon Hughes. These are midterm appointments as alternates to the BOA beginning today and ending June 30th of 2027. And the third, recommended midterm appointment to the Board of Adjustment, Forrest Hancock, from today through June 30th, 2027. So we have a couple of alternates, backups, and then somebody to fill the five-member board. Moving on to liquor licenses, you can see that this is somewhat administrative and routine. Liquor licenses, special event, liquor permit 6%, realities for children. This is their ride and rally. This is Loveland, a special event, liquor permit 6%, approval and issuance. The second is liquor license renewal. This is for the River Forks Inn in Drake, Colorado, a tavern license approval and issuance. The next category is miscellaneous. There are two stipulations, adjustments to the property values. The first is MO HPS Harmony LLC, and this is for tax year 2023. Again, this is an adjustment to the property values that have been agreed upon by the assessor's office and the property owner. The next is Centera Marketplace Properties LLC for tax year 2023 as well. Two more items, temporary construction easement, City of Fort Collins. This has to do with temporary 708 square foot temporary construction easement on a small parcel of land owned by the county located on the northwest corner of LaPorte Avenue and North Taft Hill Road. They're doing some work over there. Finally, assumption of fire control duty. This is a requested signature authority for the assumption of fire control and fiscal management of the Alexander Mountain Fire, authorized by Sheriff Fain, on August 7th. So that is the consent agenda. Do either of my colleagues wish to remove it? Yes, Commissioner.
Mr. Chair, I don't wish to remove anything, but I'd just like to go back and make a comment and express my gratitude to Planning Commissioner Lisa Cholet. I know she's stepping down, but I wanted to thank her. She stepped up at a time when we needed to have an alternate to help make sure we had quorum for our Board of Adjustment meetings. Now that we have alternates and someone who can fill in that midterm appointment, we appreciate her service on both boards, but it's not needed for her to serve both boards now. And I know she's doing a lot of work on the Planning Commission. So I just wanted to thank her. She's been there and stepped up when we asked her to, and I just wanted to express my gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Stevens, is there anything you want to pull off the consent agenda?
No, Mr. Chair, there isn't.
Okay, then let's see. Let's have a motion to approve. Whose turn is it? Then go for it.
I move to approve the consent agenda for August 13th, 2024.
Thank you. That's a proper motion. I don't believe there's any further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That passes 3-0. We now move on to Commissioner's guests, and I'll turn this over to Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. have a guest today, and I think she might have brought others with her, but I have invited Sandra Wright from Homeward Alliance, who I have known for a long time, as she's been a phenomenal and stalwart, steadfast community advocate in Larimer County and many service organizations to serve those who are in need and maybe always don't feel like they have a voice. And so she is, I invited her today to kind of share an update regarding some tremendous work that's happening down in Loveland and through Homeward Alliance and their partnership. And I have to say, I served on the Loveland, City of Loveland Human Services commission for over 4 years. And this was something back even 2017 when we started first implementing housing first policies and funding for that. It's something that even when the University of Denver started that study when we were on the Human Services Task Force, it's something that has been something I've been active in and working on. And I have to shout out to Allison Haid with the City of Loveland, who's done a tremendous job keeping that work going forward, and her heart and her tremendous expertise in this area. And so I know there's been some tremendous strides and a great partnership with Homeward Alliance. And so I've invited Sandra Wright today to come up and share with us a little bit about this progress and for us to hear directly from them. And thank you so much, Sandra, for being here today.
Welcome, Sandra.
Thank you. And thank you very much for the invitation. We really appreciate that, Commissioner Shaddock McNally. We appreciate the support that Homeward Alliance has from its county commissioners. That is really important to the work that we are doing as we are seeking to assist people escape homelessness and making sure that we're identifying various service gaps and addressing those. Loveland, it's known that for years has had service gaps, and Homeward Alliance became the lead agency for addressing those gaps and figuring out strategically how we're going to approach those as a community. With that, a lot has happened in Loveland. So you may know that 2 years ago there was an encampment ban that was enacted by City Council, which really made a hidden situation very visible. And people experiencing homelessness needed a place to be, as there was not a full-time shelter there in Loveland. The city is operating the Loveland Resource Center as well as the South Railroad facility as city-operated functions for sheltering people. We know that there are limitations for these facilities. They're not ADA compliant. They serve a very inadequate number of people. The space is not large enough for the need in Loveland, and we recognize that Loveland needs to be addressing its own need to be good regional partners and to be part of that regional approach for addressing homelessness. One of the items that Homeward Alliance was tasked with was creating community conversation around this. And so about a year ago, the Loveland Homelessness Task Force was created that has a diverse membership of representing various viewpoints and whatnot as we seek to provide sustainable solutions. And there are, as Commissioner Shaddock McNally said, there are a couple of task force members in the audience today with me. So with that, one of the goals that the task force has was creating sustainable infrastructure. And with the current facilities as they are in Loveland, finding what that permanent location, a permanent sustainable location can look like. So the task force has been working very hard underneath the direction of Homeward Alliance in scouring the community, and there was an offer made to purchase a building at 2000 North Lincoln, which is the First Christian Church building. And we went into an agreement with that church on May 24th, and now we are in a 6-month due diligence process to ensure that the building is going underneath various inspections right now to ensure that it is a viable location as far as that's concerned, to ensure that we can raise the capital funding, which we believe will be able to get this up and running for a little bit less than $10 million, which is a wide contrast to what the rescue mission is doing, building from the ground up. So we're very fortunate to have found a current building that can have some modifications made to it, but for that dollar price. And then we are working to there has been a planned unit development submission to make sure that the zoning and land use is appropriate for the site as well. So we do have a couple of important meetings coming up, one with the Planning Commission in Loveland on September 9th, and then the following meeting with City Council will be on September 17th, both of those at 6 p.m. So those are the things that we are working towards, and we are excited to be having these conversations in Loveland. There's been other successes in Loveland as the Homeward Alliance's work. The agencies are all using HMIS, which is that standard database that we all talk about. They're engaging more with the COC, the agencies are, which is a really great thing. And we're working on street outreach efforts as well. So thank you very much, Commissioner Sadek McNally, for the invitation to update you all, and we're excited for the opportunities that this means for Loveland itself in creating a healthier community for all of us. So thank you.
I'm sure my colleagues have questions, and I have a question, so don't go anywhere. And thank you, Sandra, for being here. You have been a phenomenal advocate in the community for so long, and I just hold you in high regard. I just wanted to make sure you understand my deep appreciation. But, Mr. Chair, I'm sure you all have questions.
Well, actually, before we go there, Sandra, you brought a colleague, and I wondered if it was your intention or if that colleague wishes to offer any comments.
Sure. We Homeward Alliance a year ago, as we were creating the Loveland Homelessness Task Force,
Right.
we contracted with Leah Johnson to be a facilitator of those meetings, and she is here with me today. And Leah, do you have any comments?
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. The homelessness is a challenge that we face all across, this county, and we are excited to be moving forward on a long-term permanent solution in Loveland, and really to help address the folks in Loveland who are experiencing homelessness. And so certainly appreciate all of your support. So thank you.
You're welcome. Commissioner Stevens, would you like? Thank you both very much. Any comments, thoughts?
Yeah. Thank you, Sandra and Leah, for being here. Really appreciate it. And I'm glad that Loveland's working on a more permanent solution, and it's obviously a need, and I appreciate your work on that. And I know it hasn't been without some hiccups, let's say that. How many people would you be able to house in the proposed site?
Sure. Currently, Loveland has 75 overnight beds, and we are anticipating that the site will start with 100. We are working with architectures as well as agency to see what that capacity is going to be. We suspect that eventually that will be around 150, although we anticipate the agencies to be growing along with that, and we want to make sure that we're not creating unreasonable expectations for successful outcomes.
And there'll be space for other nonprofits there that
Yes,
offer
that's correct.
resources.
It will be a hub of services, much like the Murphy Center is in Fort Collins, so that various nonprofits, people don't have to travel to get to services. And it's really interesting, even from the continuum of care side of things, right? As the municipalities start responding in the same way and have the same services, we eliminate a lot of the homelessness traveling back and forth in order to access services and make it more efficient for people to escape homelessness quicker.
And can you remind me, I think that we have some similar statistics in Fort Collins, but most of the people who are homeless have some ties to Loveland. These are not sort of people that have just come into the community. Is that correct?
That is correct. As we're looking at our data, Loveland follows suit with what the state of Colorado is experiencing as far as that 87% number of people that are experiencing homelessness in Loveland have ties to Loveland. So I know that sometimes that gets a little misunderstood in the public, as I always like to tell the story of my dad, who's lived in Colorado for 40 some years, but every day he'll tell you he's from Oklahoma. So depending on how those conversations, that's why individual case management is so important for folks to really understand the barriers in their history.
Yeah, and I think it's important for residents to understand that we're taking care of people that consider themselves community members. They're not
Yes,
necessarily
absolutely.
outsiders, and I think that that can, that's a good distinction to make, to say, we're really taking care of our neighbors who've, fallen on hard times or have some difficulties gaining housing or keeping housing. So $10 million is a lot of money, even though it's not the cost of creating a whole new building. Do you have a capital campaign that's going for that?
Yeah, we have engaged a capital campaign consultant, and we are working on a philanthropic landscape right now to see what the appetite is. That is one of the things that we have to prove before closing on this facility. The last thing in the world we want to do is to have a building that we can't do anything with, and so that is part of this process. We are getting some positive feedback in that, and we believe that that is a attainable item for Loveland.
Well, thank you. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for clearing up some of those misconceptions
Yeah,
that I
thank
think
you.
are floating around. And we wish you all the best. And certainly, as we can support, not necessarily financially, but in other ways that we can lend our support, please let us know how we can help. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Also, thanks to both of you for your work. I appreciate that you're taking a regional approach to addressing a very complex issue and that impacts people's lives, and that you're also pursuing, as we are in Fort Collins, as comprehensive a solution as one can regarding the needs of people, and how do you help folks get housed, and how do you provide the support services so that they can move forward in their lives. So thank you for all your good work. Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sandra, I had a couple more questions. Sorry. No, I'm really excited about this. And again, thank you for being here. And I know you and I have been talking about what a tremendous opportunity this is with this church offering its building and having that opportunity, which is move this the progress and the strategy up tremendously. You mentioned a street outreach program. That has been a very successful program, the Hope Outreach through the city of Fort Collins and Fort Collins Police Services. Is that something that would be something similar happening in city of Loveland, do you think, or is that a different kind of nonprofit? I know there's a lot of agencies that are doing some of that work. There's also another nonprofit that's that I when I go to the North College Business Association, they're very active in that group.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what that looks like, and if that's another source of operating funding and that we might need to think about?
Sure. The street outreach operators work really closely with, in Fort Collins, work really closely with the police department with their Hope Outreach team. But it's Outreach Fort Collins who provides that street outreach to individuals experiencing homelessness in Fort Collins. In Loveland, the program will be extremely similar to Outreach Fort Collins. There are going to be some minor tweaks. The Downtown Development Authority in Loveland recently began an ambassador program, and the street outreach team in Loveland will be working closely with that ambassador program as well as the Loveland Police Department in helping to connect people who may have higher barriers to engage in services, to help with the visualness of someone is having some sort of a mental health crisis that's not necessarily a danger to themselves or others. Street outreach can help fill a gap in that, and just getting people familiar and understanding what the services are and making those trustworthy connections.
That's great. That's the question I have, and I really appreciate how you called it a hub of services, because it is important to have these wraparound services. A lot of folks may be, they always say a lot of folks are one or two paychecks from being,
Right.
Experiencing homelessness or couch surfing, or this is all kinds of folks who might just need that support from the community. And I keep hearing, Fort Collins and Loveland, but I do really think that here in Larimer County, we having this regional approach and having a permanent kind of solution in Loveland to help kind of have another spot for the southern part of the county. We're all part of Larimer County, and how
Right.
important it is to have that regional approach. And I really have to say I'm very pleased and very proud that Homeowners Alliance is connected and part of this program and part of this process and the strategy, because you guys have done such a phenomenal job in Fort Collins and the outreach there. And I just really think this is tremendous news, and appreciate you coming today and sharing all of this information, and just want to celebrate the work that you do. And I think that because you have a track record and have these roots in Fort Collins, this will also help kind of promote that regional approach. So I just wanted to say thank you and appreciate your time today, and look forward to the progress of this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for the invitation. Thank you.
We'll now move on to discussion items, and there is one. Have a nice day, folks. Safe travels back to Loveland. Discussion item, proclamation for Women's Right to Vote and Equality Day, August 26, 2024. I believe we have some folks from the League of Women Voters, and Trish, is Trish Warner. Hi, Trish. If you would join us, or whoever would like to join us, all three of you, and please present. I think the way we'll do this is please present the importance of what we're doing. I'll ask Commissioner Stevens to read the proclamation, offer the motion, and then we can have some additional conversation, and then we'll take pictures.
So would you like us to go first? Okay.
Yes.
First, I'd like to introduce the women that are with us today.
And could you
Linda?
could you please, both of you, when you identify yourselves for the record, unless you were going to head
Yes.
there.
Thank you.
And also if there's a need for spelling of your name.
Certainly. My name is Trish Warner,
Thank you.
and I'm a League of Women Voter member from Loveland. And
My name is Pat Berger, and I'm a League of Women voter and county resident. I happen to live in Windsor, but I'm on this county side.
And I'm Linda Mahan, a member from Fort Collins.
Thank you.
And we thank you for the invitation to come before you today. I'm going to ask Pat Berger, our president, to begin the explanation, and then I will wrap up.
I would like to add that Trish is not only a member, but she's a team leader for our affordable housing team. So the program before us was very relevant, and Linda has been a very long-term member of the League, over 40 years, I think, and she is still the team leader for our membership team. So I'm so honored to be with them today. We'd like to thank commissioners and staff for having us here today and for doing the proclamation for Women's Equality Day. The League of Women Voters of Larimer County, not for women only, joins many other organizations to honor Women's Equality Day. As the proclamation makes clear, in 51 years ago, in 1973, the U.S. Congress designated August 26th as Women's Equality Day, thanks to Representative Bella Abzug of New York. The date selected to commemorate the 1920 certification of the 19th Amendment of the Constitution, granting women the right to vote. That's right, 1920 was the first year that women were able to vote nationwide. This was the accumulation of a massive civil rights movement by women that had its formal beginnings in 1848 at the world's first women's rights conference in Seneca Falls, New York. It was not until the Voting Rights Acts of 1965 that women of color gained full rights to vote. The observance of Women's Equality Day not only commemorates the passage of the 19th Amendment, but also calls attention to women's continuing efforts towards full equality.
And the League wants to thank you for this declaration in support of Women's Equality Day. I have to mention that I reached out to Commissioner Jody Shattuck McNally a number of months ago to ask about doing this. And not only did she take the sample proclamation that was sent to all of the communities in Larimer County, but she worked diligently with staff to tailor that proclamation specific to the women in Larimer County. So that is very much appreciated. On August 22nd, the League will be gathering to honor 3 Larimer County women who exemplify women's leadership in our communities. Joyce Sullivan as the CEO, United Way, Larimer County, Gretchen Haley with the Foothills Unitarian Church in Fort Collins, and Beth DeHaven, a League of Women Voters member. These women continue to inspire us all to take action still needed to make equality for women a reality. So we invite you to join us for the celebration. Tickets are available on the website, and I also have to extend a special thank you for your participation in our virtual silent auction. So thank you very much. I do have some invitations that I will leave here for distribution. I think you all received your own personal invitation, but I want to make sure that anyone else, any friends, also receive an invite.
You can just hand those to folks.
Yes, thank you.
And I believe I still have my invitation. I just haven't gotten around to it. Thank you. Maybe you will, before we go to the proclamation, colleagues, do you have any questions or comments for our presenters, Commissioner?
Thank you. Thank you all. You know how long I've been really championing this with being the co-founder of the women's suffrage movement monument in DC, and how this, the more I learn of the last, since 2018, 17, the more I learn, the more I realized what a tremendous endeavor, battle, fight, movement to earn this, to the right to vote and you know, enfranchise half the country, and the work continues. And you all have, Linda, you're a former president. I know you've been involved nationally tremendously. You have all just stayed really working hard to keep this important issue at the forefront and to raise this up. And I think one thing is, this takes work, it takes diligence, it takes passion. And the three of you here today, I know you're doing this across the whole county at lots of local governments, to make sure the word is heard everywhere. And I want to thank you, because that does take a lot of work with coordination. And I want to thank staff for their diligence to kind of help tailor that, because Colorado, I still think we're number one, but we led by referendum. Our state voted. Wasn't the legislature saying get more votes, but actually led the country by, saying women had the right to vote. And then we had the first, I think, 3 women legislators in the state legislature. So I think there's a lot to be proud of, and you are all part of that work that continues, and you're carrying the baton, and that has been passed on to you, and you all have really, this is really important work, and to make sure the awareness and the education and showing that we still have work to do. And I wanted to share this story, and I know this wasn't your League of Women Voters group, but you're all attached and you all talk at Larimer County. And last week I was invited to go up to the naturalization ceremony at Rocky National Park, which is one of my favorite places in the world. And I wrote my speech, and I was kind of doing it kind of more of a, trying to just make sure you say the right things, because, you're talking about the Constitution and the importance of the rights. But then being in that ceremony and having those folks from 33 countries, or 33 individuals from 19 countries come forward and showing how proud they were to be taking that oath and becoming American citizens. And one of them was probably in her early 80s, late 70s, from Uruguay. And she, they come through and shake her hand, and she just grabbed me, and then she just rocked me back and forth. And the joy and just the elation that she was now an American citizen. And then the League of Women Voters was outside across the parking lot at the other side, and all those folks walked across and registered to vote. And to me, that is just, you guys are everywhere. You guys are registering people to vote, making sure they know their rights. And so I mean it. This is really important, and I don't think we should ever take for granted how hard our those historic women, and there was dozens of them, who fought for our right to vote and equality. And you guys are pretty much carrying the baton and keeping that awareness, because we still have some work to do. And I just want to say thank you, and appreciate you being here today. It's really an honor to have you all here, because I'm standing on your shoulders. So thank you.
I would like to add that September 17th is National Voter Registration Day. So we'll be out in numbers at the local libraries and that kind of thing.
Awesome.
We also have a program on September 9th about election integrity at the Senior Center here in Fort Collins. So we're on it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Commissioner Stevens, is there anything you'd like to share at this time? I think there'll be another opportunity.
I'll take the second opportunity then.
All right, then, why don't we, if you would read the proclamation, please, and offer the motion, then we can talk a little bit more. I have a few things I'd like to share.
Okay.
And then we'll take pictures, if that's
Okay.
all right.
So this is a proclamation for women's right to vote and Equality Day, August 26, 2024. Whereas on August 26, 1920, the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution gave most women the right to vote, and whereas in 1893, Colorado had already secured the right to vote for women, and whereas on this 104th anniversary of the 19th Amendment and the 131st anniversary of the right of women to vote in Colorado, we celebrate the progress that has been made towards guaranteeing the right to participate in our democracy, regardless of gender. And whereas in 2022, nationally, 84.4% of women were registered to vote, compared to 77% of men, and 82.2 million women voted during the 2020 presidential election, compared to 72.5 million men. And whereas Colorado is ranked third in the nation for percentage of legislators that are women, averaging 43.4% since 2014, and whereas only 26 statewide officers elected in Colorado have been women, and 12 of the 26 served only as superintendent of public instruction until 1950, and whereas only 33% of current county commissioners are women out of 220 who hold office. And whereas we recognize the work that still needs to be done to overcome the gender inequality that affects women's representation in elected office and leadership across both public and private sectors. And whereas the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics reports that Colorado women earned 87 cents for every dollar a man earned in 2022. And whereas Larimer County women continue to face disproportionate challenges to economic prospects, affordable and accessible health care, and safety. And whereas Larimer County women still struggle to achieve economic security for themselves and their families due to a lack of affordable and accessible childcare and unequal pay. And whereas today we recognize the accomplishments that so many women fought so hard to achieve and rededicate ourselves to tackling the challenges that remain and expanding opportunity and representation for women and girls in Larimer County and Colorado. And now, therefore, we, the Board of County Commissioners for Larimer County, do hereby proclaim the 26th of August as Women's Equality Day, encouraging equity, access, and opportunity of women's work for democracy.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Flipping around. I'll get you the motion. I move to approve the proclamation declaring August 26, 2024 as Women's Right to Vote and Equality Day.
Great, thank you. Before we take action on the motion on the floor on the table, Commissioner Stevens, anything you'd like to, any questions you may have or insights, and we'll certainly ask our county manager as well.
I mean, I wish I had questions. I know this to be the truth, and it's getting better, and it's not. We're not quite there yet. So thank you, Trish and Pat and Linda, for being here. Really appreciate the work that you do to get people registered to vote, to elevate these issues so people understand these economic equalities that still exist, to understand that we have people that are incarcerated and people of color and a lot of communities that aren't registered to vote at the numbers we would like them to be. And so your work continues. It's for Linda, it sounds like it's been 40 years and counting. And so we thank you for that work. It's unheralded work in large part, but it's really, really important for our democracy to have people like you doing that work every single day. So we are grateful for that work. when I first got elected to city council in 2015, I was the only woman on city council, a body of 7. Things have changed. Now there is only one man on city council. So, but even in our own community, we've seen a time where we've had, kind of gross inequalities in governing bodies. And so this board was often made up of 3 men. Now we have 2 women on it. So we are making changes. We are trying to remove those barriers. For me, as in 2015, I was also a single mom with 1 child still in elementary school. It was challenging to do my day job and then to work sometimes to almost 1 a.m. at night to do the city's work. So we need to try to do what we can to remove barriers for women to not only vote but participate in public office. I'm glad childcare is mentioned in this document because I think that is a real barrier for women to be both in the workforce and to participate in public life. And so, thank you for championing these issues. Thank you for keeping up the fight. I know it's not been easy, but wow, we're really fighting for democracy at this point, and you are the frontline warriors. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'd like to say a few words and check with our county manager, and then see if Commissioner Shattuck McNally has anything to add. So, of course, much gratitude for your work. Certainly, Linda and I go back a few years. We've both been around the block a few times in different arenas, different issues. So thank you for your steadfast work. I do appreciate the League of Women Voters, Larimer County, the nonpartisan nature of your work, the efforts to engage the community on a variety of issues, affordable housing. Certainly the voter registration thing is really important. And one example of the success of your efforts is we have a just turned 18-year-old granddaughter that is trying to make a go of it in Colorado. And when we passed one of your little League of Women voter tables at the farmer's market, we picked up little envelopes. And both she and her 24-year-old friend, who I don't think have ever voted before, well, Barbara hasn't, of course, we just mailed those in. So that's 2 more folks added to the rolls. And hopefully that all works out. So thank you for your work, and actually the proclamation and what we're acknowledging today is really important. I think, as Commissioner Stevens suggested or stated, there's a lot of really important information in this proclamation. I often don't hold on to the proclamations, but I think I'll hold on to this one through the month of August. It might be good food for thought and discussion with other folks. So, Lorinda, would you like to share anything, please?
I'll just say I'm a mother of a daughter. I'm a grandmother of a granddaughter. And I hope that they look at me and my colleagues and the work that you all do and are inspired to continue the work. It's when you read the date and you said the number of years, it's hard to believe, right? We know this to be true, but it's hard to believe that is the short amount of time that women have had the right to participate in democracy. You all make that better, and so thank you for what you do. It's great to be able to recognize it on a day like today when there's a proclamation for Women's Equality Day. It's great to celebrate it and to celebrate the women in our community who are doing the good work, but those are you too, and so thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Lorinda. Commissioner, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, thank you all. Thanks for reaching out. You have all inspired me, and I know my daughter. Well, I didn't have to do too much nudging, but when they all could have the right to vote, they haven't missed an election yet. So, but they, we talked about it, and I think that when they see, they've been around. She's been around, and she sees all of you and how you all care about her rights and her. Care about her future. That means a lot, and I can see that every day. And just as I shared the story of your colleagues up in Estes Park, I know you do that all too, trying to make sure everyone knows about their rights and gets registered and exercises those rights. And your organization is just exemplary and stellar, and that's all because you all work so hard and volunteer and dedicate yourselves to those ideals. And I just really thrilled that you're here today, and thanks for reaching out. It's really an honor to work along with you today. Thank you. It's really, as a woman, just you guys just know that I heartfelt gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I look forward to when we achieve at least 50% of the legislative body is made up of women. 43%, right, number 3 is okay, but it's not good enough. So with that, there is a motion. Let's vote on that, I think, and then we'll pause for a few minutes and do the photographs. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That passes 3-0. A proclamation for women's right to vote and Equality Day, August 26, 2024. We'll pause for a few minutes. Thank you. Th- Thank, thank you all. We took a pause for photographs. We just adopted or approved a proclamation declaring women's right to vote and Equality Day for August 26th of this month, this year. And now we'll move on. We have 2 more items: County Manager update, Commissioner activity reports. Lorenda, would you like to share some of your activities?
I will do. Thank you, Commissioner. So last week, I did a lot of coordination with our elected officials inside the county organization. So I met with Treasurer Irene Josie, Chief Deputy Assessor Yara Zoki, and the Sheriff John Fayen for updates and coordination. It's budget season, and so we're doing a lot of talk about requests and things that are going forward for 2025. I also met with Estes Park Town Manager Travis Mihalik. We are trying to schedule a meeting with Visit Estes Park to get their operating plan in front of you all. As you know, Kara Franker has left the organization or will be leaving September 6th, and so we're trying our best to get it scheduled before her departure. I'm not sure that will work, but we're trying to coordinate that. And then we had a department head meeting last week. And I mention this because one of our strategic plan items is to make sure that our support services are meeting the needs of our operating departments and offices. And so there'll be focus groups formed that we pitched to the department head group last Friday to have volunteers come and talk about how they interact with support services, which would be human resources, IT, facilities, finance, fleet, the county attorney's office, and public affairs. We're trying to make sure that those departments are properly staffed, that they're doing the right things, offering the right kind of services, and meeting those needs. So it'll be interesting over the next couple of months to see what comes from that so that we can continue to improve what they do in support of our organization.
Thank you, Lorinda. Any questions or feedback for the county manager, our county manager? All right, Commissioner Stevens, would you like to begin? Share some of what you've been up to these days.
Yeah, I'm going to forego my report and just say thank you to everyone who helped with the fire and the people who were displaced for the fire. These are neighbors and residents, and we're just grateful for the work that was done during this time. Certainly, the first responders, the sheriff's office, the sheriff's posse, the Red Cross, Office of Emergency Management, the assessment teams that went out. I know I will be missing people, but just you have our gratitude for everyone who worked and volunteered on the fire, for anyone who provided meals or gave care and comfort during a difficult time. So just want to just give kudos to those people. And then, of course, we had the fair, and just thank you to the ranch staff, the fair board, the rodeo board, and all the volunteers that made the fair possible. It was a great fair. I think we exceeded some attendance records on Saturday. And so just really grateful for the people that worked to make that a success. The ranch staff not only had to deal with the fair, but they took animals in and then got animals out and then got animals back in. And I know the sheriff's posse helped with that. So we are just grateful for the people in our community that are helpers and offer kindness during difficult times. And the fact that people pitch in to help with a fire and a fair, really with not a lot of thanks and gratitude. We're just really grateful to live in a kind of community where people pitch in. And so just want to give that thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
So I just wanted to go back to a little bit of the last night of the rodeo was on Tuesday. First, thank you to Susan Jessup and the Silverdale Guest Ranch last Tuesday. One of the first days they were able to get back onto their property, just insisted that tradition was going to go forward, and they have been hosting the rodeo board's luncheon with the Queen for decades, and they were not going to miss this one. So they had Susan Jessup and her team had us out there, and we had a great luncheon. And it's nice to see the buildings and the area where a lot of the food in the center are untouched, but you can see the burn area right above the ranch. And I know their horses were still coming back, and I know they tragically lost a horse that was injured in one of the trailers. So I want to thank them for hosting us, and it was really, I think, good for them as well, for their ranch hands and them to all be able to come back and do something and have a little bit of normal routine of cooking outside there and things. So I want to just thank them for hosting and for all the ranch staff that and the rodeo board that stood up and came and helped out. It was great, and great hospitality and just unmatched. And so they're back in business for everyone to know. So just remember them. And then we had our last night of the rodeo. We had 2 sold out nights, and then the last night was so close, just a couple of hundred tickets from being sold out. But we had we honored in the carriage Steve Human, who's been on the rodeo board and the fair board for over 20 years and done a spectacular job, and Stephanie Fancher English, who has been running the Queens program, and then we also had Susan Jessup ride in the carriage to honor that she's saying Silverdale strong. So it was great to honor that, and then I want to thank Connor McGrath and the ranch staff and the sheriff. We hosted probably about a dozen of the Southwest Management Team firefighters who came to the rodeo to kind of give them a break, and it was great to have them there and recognize their efforts, and just all around a great rodeo. We broke some records, some arena records. We had some world-class champions, and it was just outstanding, and a lot of things to celebrate. We been still meeting with some of the state foresters and talking with folks after the fire and the fire chiefs. And it's actually attended meeting this last weekend with folks from the community talking about the risk for flood risk, and just really encourage everyone to sign up for LEDA alerts at 888-777. Put LC floods. You can go to our Larimer County website to learn more about the Alexander Fire and all of the opportunities to make sure you're aware of the things that you should sign up for, even if you're not impacting the burn area and you're traveling up and through the canyon. I think as you go up towards Estes Park, you'll see the burn area is right literally down to the edge of the highway in some areas. So just to kind of share with that. We had a wonderful regional opioid abatement learning forum through the Attorney General's office, getting a lot of dashboard. It was kind of showing the new dashboard of the regional opioid abatement and how the different areas for our state and how the money is being spent. Very transparent and amazing dashboard that we're hoping to expand upon and connect with our regional opioid abatement council for Region 2 for Larimer County. And then I went out to the Larimer County Fair and Rodeo 4-H Junior Livestock Sale and talked with Tessa Delmore, who was her steer was a grand champion and sold for, I think, a record $12,500. And it was great to talk with her and a lot of the volunteers. And again, just well done by the Larimer County Fair Board, the fantastic volunteers, all their efforts, and the rodeo board and all the people behind the scenes, and the CSU students who just cook some amazing food. It's just all around just a fantastic, amazing, I think record-breaking, positive vibe, outstanding fair and rodeo this year, and a lot of people deserve a lot of kudos and special recognition for that. We had, again, as I shared, I was invited up with Rock National Park and the Immigration Services for the U.S. Citizen and Immigration Naturalization Ceremony, which was really, really a big honor. And then I attended the Larimer County Interagency Oversight Group as we're still talking about budget cuts and how to reach those services. And so I know we're going to have some more discussions with that, with me and one-on-one about that. And I went in person to the Office on Aging Advisory Council. We have a full council. We have opportunity for welcoming the new members, and they all shared, and we had kind of what the council does and a great discussion, and it was really a great vibe, and the members were like so impressed with the new members, and they welcomed them, and it was a great conversation. And I want to thank Congressman Negus's office sent staff to that meeting to learn more about what we do and make connections, and I want to thank Olivia for her time and her interest in this, and it was really an opportunity to share that. And then I went to Neighbor to Neighbor, had a kind of a fundraiser in Loveland, and I wanted to just share how wonderful it was in the community and how they really wanted to help support this organization, especially keeping people housed. And they raised enough money that evening to keep 34 families housed. And I think that's remarkable and needs a great, big shout out and thanks to Kelly Evans and all those folks who put on a really great event at Sweetheart Winery, which, by the way, had been closed and hadn't been able to have events. So this is one of the first ones they did, and they were very thrilled to be able to get back into business as well. In the morning, we had a legislative committee meeting for the Forest Health Council. We're already starting on our 2026 legislative priorities, and we hope to have those recommendations for 2026 done by December. And I'm going to, I've already asked staff, but we are going to be inviting the water folks to come and talk about watersheds and water priorities and water management. I think this is going to be a focus, is the woody biomass and watershed protections for the forest health, and along with our 30-year plan. And then I had to take some phone calls. We had some folks who've called me from the burn area and from the impacted area, impacted residents. So I took a lot of phone calls on Friday, helping folks navigate and getting them kind of sent to our OEM and to the impact center, and helping folks, pushing them towards where they needed to be together. It was a very busy day on Saturday. I attended the Sculpture in the Park and also the Benson Sculpture Park and the invitation and the free event across the street for the Sculpture in the Park. Lots of wonderful Loveland artists. I tried to find every single Larimer County artist that had a show there and displays. and lots of volunteers throughout the community to help put that on. It was their 40th annual sculpture show. It's international sculpture show, and again, lots of great, exciting vibes. And across the street, the sculpture in the park, or the art in the park is what it's called. I'm sorry, was very full and lots of vibrant. Beautiful art and community members there, and then ran up to the Poudre River Fest just to stop by and see what we could do to connect with folks. Sunday, I was able to get up and to hike, but then I came down and ran into some residents again, but in the burn area. So I just took a moment to try to talk with them and reassure them that we are all caring, and just again pushing them to OEM and the recovery center and all the resources that we have. And I think that's all I have to share. It's just a very busy couple weeks, but I think what is inspiring for me is just overall our community feels unified, energized, and grateful. And I think that I saw that and heard that without all of our community events. And I just wanted to share that because that really struck me. So thank you.
Thanks, Commissioners. I'll share a couple of things. Certainly echo the gratitude that we have offered to the folks out at the ranch. Not only did they help to put on a rather outstanding fair and rodeo, they were also instrumental in helping to evacuate large animals from the burn area and then get them back home. Thanks to our Larimer County posse, the Sheriff's Office, Office of Emergency Management, a lot of other folks. I did enjoy the fair and rodeo. One of my favorite events is the Monday Sensory Day, 2 to 4, and we had three guests, including our 7-year-old granddaughter. Had a lot of fun, and I think that's a great idea to provide that. It makes a difference for a lot of folks. Enjoyed the junior livestock sale. There were a couple of 4-H'ers that I was particularly focused on, tried to support. The third night, the final night of the rodeo, had almost half our block come as my guests, our guests, to the rodeo. I realize now that our street, there's a lot of rodeo buffs there, and who would have guessed? And so that was great. Other than that, I'll just mention that on Saturday we had our LaPorte Community Conversation, good discussion on some of the transportation issues that are before us, including the proposed ballot measure. Our senior civil engineer did a great job, the consultant, to engage people, get them to ask questions, make suggestions. Did story time at the farmers market, one of my favorite things to do. Friday, we had State Board of Human Services. One of the things that we approved, which is relevant to what I heard earlier, is we did approve the allocation for the statewide collaborative management programs, and I think every county that has one is getting a 4% increase. I believe Larimer County and our Larimer County interagency group will get something like $289,000. So that's a good thing. I'll stop there. I don't have anything else. Well, I'm sure there are other things, but so therefore, I think we've concluded our activities for this morning. We don't have any legal matters, executive sessions. So thanks to Fort Collins TV folks, Justine and others. At 10:18 a.m., we are adjourned.